Hello, YouTube chess lovers, and thanks again for joining me here on Steven Sturgill's Chess TV channel on YouTube. And today we're looking at the Petrov defense, otherwise known as the Russian game, usually in Russia, in honor of the first two co-founders. I don't know if they really founded it, but the two guys that popularized it certainly were Alexander Petrov and Karl Janisch. Or Janish. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize if I'm mincing his pronunciation there. But okay, so as you all probably know by now, it's long been considered a dullish and sort of drawish type system. It's somewhat very symmetrical. It attacks the center almost immediately. And you may be asking yourself, why would I ever want to play the Petrov? Isn't it just a dull, boring game? No, not really. There's a lot of attacking sharp lines within the Petrov. There's a lot of gambit lines as well, which generally are not that good, to be quite honest. As you all probably know by now, I'm not fond of gambits. They just do not make sense at a classical level. It's just you're just giving pawns away for nothing. And granted, you're going to rack up some wins against lower rated opponents, but that's about it. If you're playing someone at or beyond your level, good luck playing gambits against them because you're probably going to get crushed. So I'm not a big fan of gambits. So having said that, I'll be glad to show a couple of gambit lines here within the Petrov if you guys just want to dabble in those lines, but I do not recommend them at all. White will always be at a disadvantage the moment you play those gambits. Okay, I digress. Let's get into the game. This is a very, very sharp line that I discovered here within the Petrov for white. And I guarantee if you play this line and you get black into this line, you're going to score a lot of incredible victories. So let's go ahead and get down to it. And starts off e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, knight exchanges on e5. Immediately, that's the beauty of the Petrov. You are avoiding lines that lead into the Italian game, the Gioco Piano, the Roy Lopez. So if you don't like getting into those systems, if those systems scare you or you just don't feel you know enough theory in those, then the Petrov is a great way to avoid those systems entirely. Although, having said that, you can very, very easily transpose into lines of the two knights defense or the two knights game, even the three knights version of the Petrov. I think also a couple of other lines actually go into alternate versions of the Italian game or the Italian Petrov. But at any rate, it's still a great way to avoid the Gioco Piano and the Roy Lopez in general if you don't like playing those systems. Okay, so here briefly I will show you what the first gambit could be if you want to play that. Oops, trying to back up. Yeah. So this here, if you play this here, this becomes the Boden-Kizeritsky gambit. And the idea is to obviously hit on f7, and we'll just run through that. Oops, excuse me. That's one. This is just, I'm just going to run. That's one possible way to play this setup. And at this point, white is showing a negative point between 0.5 and negative 0.12. So again, already at a slight disadvantage. That's just grown to point negative 21, or rather negative 0.21, I should say. Backing up, you can also play it like this, which is extremely aggressive, and it looks scary, but as long as black stays calm and knows his stuff, I promise you this is just a draw, and if you're not careful, white can even lose. I'll just run through this line. And I don't want to get bogged down here with this, but just to show you guys that, and there you are going into repetition. Right here on move 40, black has draw by repetition, and there's nothing white can do about it. So again, I mean that's assuming both sides play perfectly, but just absolutely, you know, 3,000 elo chess. Uh, there's a lot of, having said that, there's a lot of rooms on both sides to make massive, massive mistakes, piece blunders, positional blunders, just massive errors in calculation and judgment. So I don't recommend, again, those gambit systems, but and then also I will show you, is it this one? Nope, sorry. Well, how do I get over there? Let's see. Let me just click to it and I'll avoid this. Okay, where did this come from? Ah, yes, from the main line. Okay, here we are. So going from here, standard opening. And then if you do this on this move, this becomes what's called the Cochrane Gambit. And if anything, it's even significantly worse than the Bowden-Kizaritsky. At least in the Bowden-Kizaritsky line, you have decent chances. In my opinion, in the Cochrane Gambit, white is horrible out of after taking right there. It's just you're gaining space, but you've already lost a pawn for nothing. Excuse me, you've lost a knight for a pawn, which is a god awful trade. And I'll just run through this line. I don't want to get bogged down because this is a very, very silly, terrible gambit. Please don't play the Cochrane Gambit. Unless you're playing someone that's like 600 elo below you or something, please just don't waste your time on this. It's just nonsense. It's pure nonsense. And I'll just go through this. And this is even with Komodo 8 or 9 making, just perfect moves. And white gained some traction here, but as in the case with many, many positions like this, all it takes is for black to consolidate and things become rock solid. And I'll just blitz through this. And it's pretty much a practical draw at that point. If you can win with white here, man, you need to contact Kasparov and FIDE and compete in the World Championship, because one rook versus two knights and a pawn and the active king, good luck on that one. So uh, the Cochrane is just really, really bad. White is horrible after the exchange, and I'm just showing you that one line. There's probably worse lines that white could go down and just crash and burn. So don't waste your time playing these silly gambits. Play real chess. So backing up, let's get back into the real game now. Sorry for those diversions. Just wanted to get that out of the way. If you guys are wondering about those, there's other lines as well. There's the Karas attack, or variation. There's Steinitz, on and on and on. You guys can grab a book or go to Wikipedia or somewhere and look that up. Okay, let's get down to business. Again, going to the opening tabia for the Petrov. Oops, let's see. Yeah, so here we are. Here's where the fun starts. So oops, not that one, sorry. Ah, here's where the fun starts, guys, at this position here. So white and black have traded off, which is very, very common in the Petrov for black. But here, by opening with the D pawn, You can obviously see the benefit. White's queen is free to roam about on the semi-open d file. Bishop's getting out. King's probably going to castle queen side, obviously. Okay, so black prepares castling. White prepares castling by going bishop e3. Castles, queen up to d2. Knight out to d7. Castles, knight f6. King b1, a nice waiting move, also shoring up a2. c5, ultra aggressive, stopping ideas of the bishop coming to b6 in the future, or there's other useful points to that move, but main thing is black is advancing the center. Bishop out to d3. Again, the bishop's seen in an ultra classical setup, very common to many systems, too many to mention. Here I'm going to start with what black actually played in the initial game, and then we'll go back and finesse it a little bit. But I want to show you guys how absolutely deadly and lethal this system is with white against black. If your opponent is black here, woe be unto them. They're about to get crushed, and let's watch what happens. Black played the slightly weakening move of h6, which looks normal enough in this position, but it's really not that good. It's not terrible, it's just not that good. And now let's look at the fireworks that literally are about to ensue. Rook e1, consolidating, getting control over those center files, or central files. Bishop e6, boom, instantly. Let's look at that again. Imagine playing this over the board calmly, and then seeing the look on your opponent's face saying, oh crap, what have I walked into? Well, black is pretty much compelled to take. It's going to get worse if they don't. G crosses h. Queen takes h6. And that king is looking butt naked in the corner with virtually no help. Pawn to c4, striking the bishop. Knight up. And there is just one piece now between doom, imminent doom, and that is the knight obviously on f6. Black bishop comes to d5. Bishop up, giving a awesome intermezzo check. King over. Bishop back to e4. Double attack. King goes to g8. Rook up to e3. I think any IM or CM or FM or even expert level chess player on earth would now resign. That's it. I've seen enough. Good night. Great game. Queen down. d7. Bishop again giving intermezzo check. King over. Now bishop down to f5, striking the queen on d7. Double attack. King is in check. King goes back over to g8. Rook h3. Yes, sir. We knew it was coming. Black queen takes the bishop. That's really a move that accomplishes absolutely nothing. I'm sure y'all can see the final move. Boom. Queen h8. Checkmate. Guys, this was played against a 2900 or better ELO engine. And I'm telling you, if you get anybody in this line as black and you have white, you will know how to absolutely put them away on ice in 22 moves. Now, even backing up, let's back up for a second. Let's see, where was it? It was, yeah, here. Instead of playing h6 here, black should have played, well, not should have, but could have. It would have been a better move at any rate. Knight g4. A much craftier move, obviously stopping ideas of immediate mate threats. However, black is still in deep trouble. Again, rook coming to e1, getting centralized. Knight back to f6, now guarding the h7 square. Pawn up, a little nice little quiet move. Now black felt compelled to play h6 again. Again, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and it's looking almost like a carbon copy, except that that knight is now on f6. C4, okay, rook up immediately. Okay, knight was compelled to take there. Bishop takes. A very aggressive f5. And if you didn't know what to do in this line, that would actually work. Black would probably save mate and find some kind of slow counterplay. It can't be that slow, can it? Instead, nope. White just gives check on d5. Counter, takes, check, down. And instead of taking here immediately, which is an okay move, that's much better. Queen g6 check. King over to h8. Takes. Queen over to f8. Obviously, g8 would be losing on the spot. Rook lift. Ooh, excuse me. Bishop over to h4. Here, obviously, I think if bishop takes here immediately, I think you have the immediate knight g5. Or possibly even queen f6. Maybe even stronger. Let's find out what that would... No, it wouldn't be queen f6. Yeah, definitely probably knight g5. Let's see what that would look like if I put that on the board. Yep, I was right. Knight g5. And then checkmate like that. Okay, but that's not what happened. Black bishop comes to h4. Queen gives check on h5. King over. Queen up to h6 check. King over. Beautiful intermezzo check on g6, driving the king back. And mate on e6. Let's see if we go back just a few moves. Let's see what would... Trying to figure... I think that would just be that would have been a repetition. I think if you'd gone queen g6 here, that would have been a slow repetition, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and well, not repetition, a theoretical repetition, because you're doing this kind of stuff. And now mate comes with the rook, and that's a good cool mate as well. Still coming in 29 moves as opposed to I think 25 with the enhanced defense, if you can call it that. It's still a miniature, however you slice it, right? And 22 is what the actual game went down with. Now, just as an aside, let me go back and we'll look at some of the mainline moves briefly. Oops. Okay, there we go. Knight takes, gets driven back. Takes. And here, I did briefly want to show you guys a game played by Caruana against Ruslan Ponomariov. And that went, and instead of, let's see, excuse me, instead of this type of setup, which is more traditional, more typical mainline, just this kind of setup, this kind of approach, where black castles queenside. I'm not going to go all the way through this. This is a very, very super long, drawn-out game where I think, yeah, white won this game in 90 moves with near perfect defense by black. So if you can play above the 2700 level for both sides, good luck on that one, and maybe you'll win in 90. I don't like approaches like that, and I mean, okay, a draw is a draw. If you draw, no hard feelings, right? Everybody walks away with a semi-smile on their face. But okay, so backing up to move 10. Caruana went b1 here, and Ponomarev played bishop f6, h3, h6, and I'm not going to annotate. I'm feeling a little tired, so I'm just going to blast out the moves and you guys can watch how this game developed. Apologize, it's very late where I am, and about time to hit the hay. But anyways, and these are all pretty much standard ideas within the Petrov. By the way, that move right there was a major positional error by Ponomarev. Uh, Komodo 8 kind of went nutso when he played this a7 move. I'm not sure what his idea was precisely. I'm guessing maybe shoring up the b6 move with ideas of bishop a6, or even c6 and maybe queen to b6 or queen to g8. Who knows? Something like, there's a lot of options to go with. But anyway, just pointing that out. And I hate to say this also, but one inaccuracy deserves another. This was very inaccurate by Caruana. This queen d2 move here, much better was had he played rook h2 here. Would have been a phenomenally stronger move, or even rook he1, rook f1, king b1 was better. But this move, Komodo hates. Instantly dropped about 0.35 advantage. Anyways, I'm not going to go through too much analysis of every move. That's not the point of this video. Let's just finish it out, and I'll show you how this game finished. And, let's see. I thought... Oh, I see. Yeah, I was missing that delicious mate there on a8. Okay. Had he played, I think, the slower ta-da move, let's see, is that... Ooh, that would have been losing. Ouch. And all of a sudden, yeah, I see the meaning. That bishop now is essentially blocking the the queen's access, because it doesn't draw the king away enough, and nor does the queen have an angle of entry with that move. So that's, if you ever get this position, do not play bishop b5. Learn from Caruana. Oops. And go all the way to a6. That's the money shot, and that's mate. So it's funny how one inaccuracy here, like that, and white is literally losing the game instantly. Horrible, huh? But that's the game that we love and play. So I'm gonna run back through that incredible attacking game, and we're not going to spend any more time on the Bowden Kizaritsky or the Cochrane, because I think they're both ridiculous, and the Cochrane is just god awful bad. Yeah, the Bowden Kizaritsky at least has a tiny bit of merit to it, but the Cochrane is just flat out ridiculous. Please don't play it, or play it at your peril. And we got this lovely idea of quickly grabbing the d file. Look at those bishops, just absolutely angling already towards the black king. Maybe black shouldn't have castled yet. Maybe he should have castled queenside. I don't know. But if you ever get black to castle on this position, attack, 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 attack. I mean, look at these moves, man. I mean, I think I think a slower win here. In fact, well, let me just go through the game before we do that. That's instant mate. 22, a miniature, ultra vicious beatdown in the Petrov. Who said the Petrov has to be dull and boring? No way. Here I was also thinking, instead of that money shot, had a crazy idea. I don't know if this is working or not. Probably not. This is, no, that's losing. I had a buck wild idea there in the position. But my other idea was, instead of bishop to h2 immediately, what about just immediate rook h3, forcing the queen to come off the board? Yep, immediately trades the queens. Bishop is lost. Okay, it trades itself for the knight. Pawn up. Oof, wow, look at that vanguard there. It's like TIE fighters, right? Sorry, I had to sneak that Star Wars reference in there. I apologize for all you non-Star Wars fans out there. Had to get that in. And this is absolutely a workable solution. White is enjoying a nearly 8-point advantage. Yeah, and now it's hopeless. Black is facing a queen with a lone rook. Those pawns are toast. Ouch. And I guess white is just thinking, I'm gonna queen one of these guys. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Okay, and mate is coming. There we go, finally. Okay, so that's a slow way to do it. That's made in 57, so don't play like that if you don't have to. That's what one inaccuracy can cost you. So again, back, the main gist of this tabia is that if black castles after 7 bishop e3, which is a very typical move for the Petrov, this is the kind of setup you want. Well, and again, had they played the better, slightly better knight g4 or something else, let's see, what else could he have played? It's giving, let's see, rook e8. Let's see how good that is. And yeah, okay, rook centralized. Interesting. Let's see. I was thinking here something like just an immediate sack. It's probably too aggressive. That's not quite working, I don't think. That's probably just a transposition. Yeah, it's just a weird transposition as far as I can tell. Nah, it's no good. Well, that may be a good way for black to refute this line. But let's see, if he doesn't see rook e8 there, he's in dire straits. So I will try to work out a new line, guys, for next time, and try to see if there's still a strong continuation for white. But if black misses his golden opportunity there and plays either h6 or knight g4, he's in deep, deep, you know what, because this is going to be the exact problem that he faces. Look at that. Mate in 26. So if he doesn't know his stuff on that one move, that subtle rook e8, he's literally going down the tubes, and you'll know exactly every move to make and why. Okay, so till next time, guys, I hope I inspired you to give the Petrov a try. Um, Obviously, black did have there a strong response of rook e8, but not seeing that cost black the game, and it became an awesome, glorious miniature. So until next time, thanks for joining me on my Chess TV channel on YouTube, and keep chessing.